Welcome class to Chapter 2, Developing a Web Page. In Chapter 2, we're going to work with the objectives, create head content and set page properties, create, import, and format text, add links to web pages, edit code, and lastly, modify and test web pages. Those 5 objectives are going to equal your 5 videos for this particular chapter. Each one is going to be broken down into a lecture. So before we begin Lesson 1, this is found on page 2-2 of your textbook, Understanding Page Layout. So we want to use white space effectively. We want to limit media elements. We want to keep it simple. We want to use an intuitive navigation structure, and we want to apply a consistent theme. So use white space effectively. So what is white space? It's not necessarily just white. Okay, it's area on a page that has no content. So we want to balance the amount of white space with the amount of content we have on a page. Limit media elements. So these are things as images or video clips or even sounds on a web page. You want to make sure that each one of those items serves a purpose. So don't add it unless it's going to enhance your particular page. Keep it simple. A simple, well-designed site that works well is far superior to a complex one that contains errors. Use an intuitive navigation structure. It's easy to use, and your users can easily find their way back to the home page if they get lost. Okay, apply a consistent theme, a common theme. So we use of colors and fonts. The placement of the navigation and the overall page design gives a website a unified look and promotes greater ease of use and accessibility. Okay, we'll be talking about accessibility in a little bit. Okay, I want to see if it's in this particular lesson. Okay, creating head content and setting page properties. So a web page is composed of 2 distinct sections: head content and the body. Okay, so this begins our Lesson 1. So let's go ahead and check out some code from your home page of Striped Umbrella. So here is our head section. If I use this little arrow here, it's going to collapse, and then here's the body section. So those are the 2 distinct sections. Your head section is going to contain information that has the page title, okay, and also meta tags. And the body is the part of the page that appears in the browser window. Okay, this is the content that your visitors are going to interact with and see on your page. So head section, opening head tag to closing head tag. Okay, so our title is of course what we're going to see in our browser tab, but all of the other information is information for the browser only. Okay, and so, or maybe Google when we talk about keywords and description. And then the body section again is the information that we see as visitors to the site. So when I highlight this, you can see that it's grabbing the 3 paragraphs and also the footer that is on the page. So head section, body section. Okay, meta tags, again, this will be found in the head section. They include information about the page, information to the browser. Okay, so keywords and description. And once we get through all of the content of Lesson 1, we'll go ahead and we'll practice entering keywords and description into our home page for Striped Umbrella. The background color is the color that fills the entire page and should complement the colors used for the text, the links, and images on the page. So here's the background color. Okay, we actually have 2 background colors. This is the background color for body, and this is the background color that is for a container for this page. You want to make sure they complement each other, and there's nothing wrong with having just white for both of them. We will do an upcoming research about colors and how they complement each other when we start digging or actually developing more layout for our coffee shop website. A CSS layout block is a section of a web page that is defined and formatted using cascading style sheets. That's what CSS stands for, cascading style sheets. And I know that you've had that in your 154 class, so we're just going to see how Dreamweaver actually develops CSS for us. Okay, and we can apply those styles to our text, our links, or other objects on the page. A default font and default link colors. So default font typically is your Times New Roman, and 16-point font is going to be your font size in your browsers. And then default link colors, those are going to be our blues and our purples, but we can go ahead and modify those if we choose to. Unvisited link, again, that is our blue. Visited link is going to be our magenta or our purple. You can choose from 3 color notations for your web page. You can use RGBA, red, green, blue, and then A stands for alpha. You can use hex, or you can use hue, saturation, and luminous, and alpha channel as well. And so when you're working with the color picker, those are the options that you're going to have. And so here's an example of the color picker. So you choose one of these buttons, and then you'll be able to supply the information. So we are going to find in this textbook that we're going to be mostly working with hex colors. Okay, so we're going to stop and we're going to complete lesson 1, 2:6 through 2:11. Before we jump into there, I want to actually open up our textbook, and I want to talk about the accessibility. So as I'm doing this, and you're watching this video, perhaps you can do the same thing and open up to page 2-5. So lesson 1. Okay, so here it is, making pages accessible. So this is going to be a wiki assignment. So if I jump back to our course content, and I'm going to come into chapter 2, at the bottom of this, you're going to see a wiki assignment, a website accessibility assignment. So it says not all of your users will have perfect vision and hearing or full use of both hands. There are several techniques you can use to ensure that your website is accessible to individuals with disabilities. Okay, so you're going to use the internet to research for information on what you as a developer can do to make sure your website is accessible. So you will click on this link, and then you're going to enter in your name for the name box, and then the content is going to provide a list of techniques along. Okay, so you're going to come up with a list of techniques with your research, and then you're going to source the URL. So all you have to do is copy and paste them at the bottom of underneath all of your list of techniques. You need to have at least 2 source sites. So we'll click on this, and so you're going to put your name in here, and then you'll go ahead and enter in your list of techniques, and then your a minimum 2 URLs, and then you will hit submit. Okay, so coming back here, just reading more about this accessibility. These techniques include using text alternatives for any non-text content like an image, making text readable and understandable, so using a font that people can read, and a font size for sure too, and providing ways to help users navigate through the site easily. Now Adobe provides information about website compliance for section 508. To learn more, you can go to adobe.com accessibility. Okay, there are other sites. You could go to w3.org. Okay, WCAG is the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines from W3C. And so there's lots of sources out there that you're going to be able to work through. Okay, find some that work well for you, that allow you to understand and apply to maybe what you already know about HTML5 tags. Okay. Okay, so let's go back and let's practice. So page 2-6, we're going to enter in a page title. Now, when I started this course with you, I told you that the book got a copyright of 2015, and we're in 2021. So we know how technology goes, and so you're going to use your assignment pages as well to see updates. So if I scroll up to assignments here, I'm going to see updates. So page 2-6 says number 2 and 3. The page title is at the bottom of the Property Inspector. And so you're going to open up the Property Inspector through the window menu. I'm going to show you another way to update the page title as well. And I'm sure you know how to do that because you've been in code in your previous semester. Okay, so Properties Inspector, any of these panels that you either lost or you need or things like that, or you don't need anymore, you come through your window menu. So window, and then I'm going to go to properties. So at the bottom of the Properties Inspector is where you can add or modify or delete your page title. So the striped umbrella is now going to change to, in number 3, it says to add beach resort and spa, comma, and then where it's located. Now location is very important in a title tag, okay? You want to enter in keywords. Keywords meaning what would I search for to find you through Google? Okay, so it's not always just the name of the company, but it's also things that describe, and then of course the location is very important. Keep that in mind when we start working with Coffee Shop. Okay, so now that's the document title. I'm going to go ahead and click in Code View. And I'm going to show you that it actually updated the title tag right here. So if you don't want to use the Property Inspector, you can go ahead and just type it in code and add the update there. Okay, keywords. We are going to, and I'm just going to push my Properties Inspector up to the top and use the collapse arrow. Okay. And now keywords, you want to be very careful with keywords. You need to have your cursor in design view. If you have your cursor in code, whenever you click on insert and then go to keywords, that's where it's going to insert your keywords. Let me try that. So let me just type in some text here and hit OK. And now do you see down on my line 34, it says the sand crab, and then it says meta name equal keywords. Well, that's not where meta is supposed to be. Meta is supposed to be up in the head section. So you need to make sure that your cursor is in design view in order for Dreamweaver to know where to insert those keywords. Okay, so I'm going to do Control Z and undo that. I'm going to click in my design view, and then I'm going to go to keywords. And I'm going to type in what they have listed on page 7. So the striped umbrella. Make sure that you spell these correctly too. So the next key phrase that I would type to find this resort is beach resort, and then maybe spa. Fort Eugene is the location. Florida addition to the location. Also Gulf of Mexico is another location. You want to make sure that when you're creating your keywords that you do not repeat words, okay? Because you don't want to be wasting words that are repeated. So one could type the striped umbrella, beach resort, spa, Fort Eugene, Florida, Gulf of Mexico, fishing, golfing, cruises. So these are all activities that could happen at the striped umbrella. We will practice this in Coffee Shop as well. Okay, so you want to think about again, how are people going to find you when you're working through keywords? So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And then I notice now that the keywords are right before the meta tag was inserted right before the head section. Okay, so again, I'm going to make sure that my cursor is in my design view when I go ahead and enter in the description, which is on page 8. So I'll click on description through the insert panel. And then description is what you will see in your search engine results as kind of like a call to action. Like, here's some more information about the site and what they provide. So the striped umbrella is a full service resort and spa, just steps from the Gulf of Mexico. In Fort Eugene, Florida. Okay, now whether that's the best description that this one can provide, I don't think it is. You could have more of a call, like more of an advertisement in that particular sentence, but it's an okay description. The Striped Umbrella is a full-service resort and spa just steps away from the Gulf of Mexico in Fort Eugene, Florida. So again, the description is what you're going to see when you get your search engine results back to you when you go out and you Google something. Okay, and it's just a little line underneath that kind of describes, and it will actually highlight your keywords. Okay, so if I were to have searched on resort, Gulf of Mexico, those would be bolded in my search results. Okay, so let's go ahead and click OK. Okay, now again, it's added in the head section. It says meta name equal description. Okay, and this is how I can go ahead and modify them too, is right through code view. Okay, so we're going to exit out of the meta section and we're going to talk about the CSS Designers panel. We'll do a little bit of work in there, but we'll go ahead and take the CSS Designers panel. If you do not see this panel, Window menu, CSS Designer. Okay, so no panic if you don't have it. You're going to take and drag the tab out, and then you're going to drag the right border so that you can see a 2-column layout. These are the sources. These are the cascading style sheets. This is all. And then this is the media. Media meaning, is this a smart view, a smartphone view, a tablet view, or maybe a desktop view? And then these are all of the selectors. Selectors meaning tags or classes or IDs. And then this will be the actual property. Okay, so that is page 2.9. Okay, so on page 2.10, they have us look at SU_styles. So you want to click on the source SU_styles. And you want to make sure that you're on all and not current. If you're on current, you probably won't even see SU_styles. So make sure you're on all, choose SU_styles, and then it says select fluid in the selectors pane. So I'll click on fluid. And now we see the properties that are associated with the fluid class. So it says to set the background color box, and we want to change it to white. Okay. Oh, it's actually already white. We're going to change it to something else. So this is this right here. No, actually, no, this is the white area here. So I'm going to change it to something really ugly. Okay, so maybe like a blue. Okay, so click a blue in here, and then I'm going to hit enter. Now you can see that blue is filling for that fluid class. Okay, I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to go back to white. Okay, now I can do that a couple ways. I can use the picker over here. I can click here. I most likely, since I know what white is, I'm going to go FFF. And if you have all 6 numbers the same, you can shortcut it to just 3. So I want it to go back to white. Now it says on step 9 on page 11 to go to boilerplate. In boilerplate, we're going to look for background color as well, and we're going to look for it on body. So we need to go to global on the media first, and then we're going to search for body. You can type in here too. I could type in body, and it would pull it up right away instead of going through the list. So body, here is the background color for body. This is that dark gray that you're seeing both on the right and the left. They want us to update this by removing it. So I'm going to click outside of that, and if I hover all the way over to the right, I can remove it. I can also disable it, so let me go ahead and disable it. And now you'll see that it's now white. Okay? If I think, oh, well, that's really not the change I want, I can go ahead and enable it back. Now they want us to remove it, and I'm giving you the choice to remove it. Okay, you can disable it or remove it or leave it as it is. Now we're going to go ahead and go File, Save All. Okay, and this is where Striped Umbrella, again, you can have the color on the right and the left, should be at the end of Lesson 1. Now if I want to bring this CSS Designers panel back into Files dock over here, I can do that. Okay? If you accidentally close it out, like if I click this X, it's no big deal. Go to Window and go to CSS Designer. And again, if you want to dock it, you can certainly dock it over here. Nope, I didn't get it docked. There we go. No? It's not wanting to go in there. Interesting, because it went there the first time. I don't know what's going on. I will just do it this way. Another option too is just to reset your workspace, and then it'll put it back in there. I usually don't worry about docking it in the Files panel. I just will open it up from the Windows menu when I need it. Okay, so that is your Lesson 1.